Hey everyone, it's Simon Sparled. Welcome back to some more Revolution Custom Standard here in Grand Prix Mirage Expo. We have another match here in round one. We've got Silver facing off against Splitmoon. Silver, of course, is on white-black Hardsuit, while Split is on black-red. I believe it's Glee. Boy, I'm going to miss my words right here. Glee. No, yeah, Glee. Conqueror's Glee. Black-red mid-range against a white-black aggro sort of deck. It's going to be, I think, an interesting matchup here. Looks like we've got some mulligans here going on, keeping 6. Just gonna let people know that I'm all ready. Yep. I'm already recording, so players can start whenever. Obviously, we've gone over white-black Hardsuit in the Rev Tech episode, and we've gone over both of these decks a couple days ago with Coveted Peacock and I doing a deck list reveal stream, so I won't go too much into detail about the individual pieces. We'll just go more for a live play-by-play. Silver's got an opening hand with some decent cards here in an early Lost Resistor and Sculptor's Replica, and then pieces of removal and Gone Picking and Downlink Overload, with Gone Picking providing a little bit of extra value here in that little artifact there. We've also got 2 pieces of mana here, Swamp and a Desolate Path, not bad. And yeah, hopefully we're going to pull some more of the deck's haymakers, or at least things to deal with the opponent's board. The thing is, Split doesn't look like they have any creatures out here, so it looks like early Phoenix's Touch to force your opponent to discard down. Pretty solid turn 1 play. The lose a life is not, irrelevant. I quite like it. Face of Animosity, no targets for now. High Voltage can always clear out one of those creatures or go face, and Omen of Slaughter. So the removal is definitely in Splitmoon's hand here in this early game. Drawing into a Swift Reproach here for Silver gives them third piece of removal and then another land. So definitely going to have the mana and the resources to play out some things. All right, not running out Sculptors or Lost Resistor here into what's likely to be your opponent's removal, because this is a very removal heavy deck. We've got double High Voltage, double Punishment from Nyx, and Omen of Slaughter. So things aren't going to stick unless you've got ways around that. The problem is both players are just drawing into removal after removal here. It's nice that Splits can at least go face if it has to. At least Lost Resistor is going to gain back a life when it dies. I'm assuming we're going to see an end step Omen of Slaughter, which makes the most sense here. You definitely want to use that before a bunch of tokens arrive on the field. And of course, you can sacrifice it to scry, kind of clear out these cards here. So with that extra mountain, you've got a punishment from Nyx that's open up, and then you can crack it to scry too. Kind of like digging you the cards that you actually are going to want. Here's another Lost Resistor, I would imagine. It's going to, I would assume, eat a punishment from Nyx. Yep. And that definitely lets you crack that Omen of Slaughter. So really fast-paced game here. Both players digging quickly, trying to find something a little better than a hand of removal. And, I mean, creatures aren't going to be long for this world is what I'm thinking here. Splitmoon finding a... real quick, were they both bottomed? Yeah, it was a Temple and an Omen that went on the bottom. Looks like drew into a swamp, though, but it is what it is. What's nice about Sculptor's Replica is it has flow, right? Which means that you can do that at instant speed. So this is one of the rare cards where if you get to enough mana, can it tap itself? Each creature you tap, yes. You're able to at least get the Golem token here. That Scattering Swine is going to get Downlink overloaded. 2 cards milled. Looks like a Omen of Slaughter and a Rooftop Slink promo were dropped into the bin. Okay. Looking good here. Melon here is quite nice. The Enter the Battlefield effect giving you your pledge. White... You're going to go, what, black and, or green? Okay. Green and white for the +2/+2. Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. High Voltage is going to clear out Melon here. Good use of using your high mana card, just because you'll always have Punishment from Nyx mana. Inner Ring's Pupil is good. It's going to get Swift Reproach, that's for sure. And your opponent has more cards in hand unless they're willing to throw out a punishment from Nyx to cycle it. I wonder if that's going to happen here. Oh, never mind. Looks like... Oh, it's not enter the battlefield anyway. Never mind. I keep forgetting that Inner Ring isn't just on attack. This card's really good. All right, so player resources are slowly going down. Attuned Acolyte's quite nice because the Hardsuit's gonna stick around. There is a punishment from Nyx, so one of these two could easily get sniped off the field. Penwrath is quite fun. It's a shame that it's well, I mean, it's good that it's only sorcery in terms of design. Like if they were instant speed, I wouldn't be a huge fan of these Glees, but the fact that their sorcerer speed is quite nice. But unless you're making a pledge, so something good to keep in mind. Splitmoon's thinking punishment from Nyx could pop the Attuned Acolyte before Sculptor's hits. Okay, looks like Sculptors is going to land. Of course, it's not going to get a chance to make anything. I'm going to imagine that we're going to see a high voltage being cast at it. Extraction mission is quite nice because you get back your creatures, though. It has to be with mana value X or less, right? So... Oh, you know what, though? That's... Dang. The inner ring was exiled, so you can't target that. That would have been the perfect target for it here. Scattering Swine is combat damage to a player. You get back a permanent. This has been a really weird game. I like how both players are in agreement. Yes. Absolutely removal chalked hands. I mean... Okay. Extraction mission 2, so it's going to be Scattering Swine. It enters tapped, but it's going to create a copy of it. And you can send that in safely. If they trade with, you know, Sculptor's Replica, you're totally fine with that. You're a point off from Hardsuit. And if you take the damage, you may return a permanent you control to its owner's hand. So it could be the original Scattering Swine. And if you do, they lose 3 life unless they discard a card that shares a type. Okay, I mean, putting in some pressure. 3 damage. Are we picking up... Yeah, I'm wondering if we're picking up the original Scattering Swine, or do you just want that on the board? You can always replay it. I mean, you're already down to 2 mana. Okay. Well, you got 1 mana high voltage because you've cast this instant or sorcery, so it would be... Yeah, there we go. All right, removal after removal. The nice thing, though, about Hardsuit is that a lot of the draws are able to kind of rebuild pretty well. So Smart Chopper makes a berry. I'm going to put the berry on the Smart Chopper, so now it's a 3/3 before damage, which is nice. Isn't the token supposed to be gone? Why are there... Did we just draw Scattering Swine and that's what I forgot? Okay. Phew. Scattering Swine came from the hand. I was looking elsewhere here. Yeah, these are quite good in pairs. My gosh. Faces of Animosity also able to push in a lot of damage. All right, so Plains is not what we want here, but the interesting thing is at least you can activate, I guess, Insurgency if you want to give +2/+2 to something. So swing for a 4, but you're down to 10 life here with Silver. So there's really a limit to what you can do. Because it's an extra 3 life, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, like that's a lot of damage, potentially, right? Smart Chopper's gonna block, Berry's gonna pop, I'm guessing. Sacrifice this, or is it a must? Okay, response, there we go. Face of Animosity. So it's gonna get extra damage and trample, and it's going to make sure that the combat damage trigger is going to hit. But you take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 triggers. Thankfully, there's actually a land in hand, which is quite smart, because there's not many other permanents that can get returned, so... Oh, looks like no triggers on the return. Okay. Still. Yep. I mean... At least you're not dead on board. You take a hit, and then if your opponent, returning a land, you discard your land. I think I would have discarded the Stark Expanse here, though, I'll be honest, because you don't have the life to pay the 2, and at least the planes could have gotten you to 5th mana if you really needed it. Temple of Origins is not it. I'm assuming this is going to be a concede here. We're going to move over to game 2. Phew. Lands after lands, yeah, that's the kind of top decking that you really don't want to get too much of. But it's all right. It is how it is. Not much we can do about that. So checking real quick here on our players. When it comes to sideboard, there's not that much life gain here. I'm not sure if Furies is necessarily going to be it. Duras has a few targets that are nice. Force Shutdown, just bringing an extra removal I could see being well. Spiteful Banditry seems quite good because it's each creature, and a lot of the creatures here only have 1 or 2 toughness unless they get much bigger. Probably not a Faces of the Faceless. So I could see Spiteful Banditry, Force Shutdown, maybe Duress. If you check over on... Oh, well, you know what? Honestly, Duress isn't feeling too great. Like, it's only just hitting the removal pieces. But you know that your opponent's probably bringing in Bind Life to Steel and Duress, I would imagine, because Duress, on the other hand, has a lot of hits here on Splitmoon's deck, right? The instants, the sorceries, the enchantments, a lot of decent hits. So if you want to counter the Duress, you can bring in your own stuff. Bind Life to Steel is a card we were talking about in the Rev Tech, where if your opponent's absolutely just destroying all your stuff, and none of it is exile on Split's side of the field, this can just bring back your whole field. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that card getting brought in. So it looks like our players are ready here on game 2. Opening hands look fine. We're keeping a 7. It's actually a pretty good keep 7. 2 Kitsune Matriarchs and a Wayward Drek. So we're going to see Kitsune on turn 1, I would imagine. Even if that's going to eat something like a punishment from Nyx. I mean, that means they're not playing out Calamity Cat, right? Spiteful Banditry is here, though. That's going to be quite good. If the Kitsune Matriarchs can get big enough, it'll be quite important. There's Temple, going to be black-red. These lands have felt pretty good, especially because they're untapped and stuff. So the question is, oh my gosh. Okay. You can slow roll and play out a second Kitsune, or you can go right away for the Wayward Drek line and use your mana more efficiently so that on turn 3 you can go Kitsune Wayward Drek. I think that's what I would do. I'd rather... Oh, okay. Or looks like we're not doing that. I mean, yes, your Kitsune is a little bit smaller, but the mana sequencing would have been quite nice. Alright. I mean... You want to use your mana efficiently. I don't think punishment from Nyx here is necessarily bad. Because Wayward Drek will create... Yeah, okay. That's what I would have done as well. So taking out that Matriarch, you really don't want to let those scale. Spiteful Banditry is going to cost a lot if you have to pay 5, and you'd rather be able to play it at like 4... or even 3, right? Scattering Swine coming out. Really good card. Thankfully, there's going to be some land still in hand here. Wayward Drek is going to make just the 1 token, so maybe you want to do your Attuned Acolyte this turn instead to get your Hardsuit, and because of the Hardsuit's going to come out, it'll have Exalted. Yeah. And you can tap up to a 4/4. I like that. The 4/4 blocking the Scattering Swine is quite important. Of course, now Scattering Swine can trade with the Hardsuit. Um, okay, Calamity Cat. All right, haven't played a land yet. Okay, looks like we're going Cat. Discarding a card, imagining the swamp. Yep. Counter on it. Goes up to a 4/3. And then the... Oh, well, Animosity still doesn't save it, though. That's going to be interesting. Maybe you wait an extra turn so that you can get up to 4/5 toughness, and then Hardsuit doesn't do anything, but maybe you feel like you can't wait that long, because of course the Matriarch is going to get huge, right? Drek is going to be next turn. And these are going to turn into some like real big threats. It'll be a counter, a counter, because two separate token creations, right? The Exalted is going to be even higher. And then these can tap artifacts, right? So even after that, you'll have... but you'll be a mana short to flip. So there's not going to be a flip on the same turn. But, yeah. Okay. Tough place to be in. Oh, well, Smart Shopper is actually really good, too. Okay, everything's all good. Okay. Tapped Sanguine Palace. All right. So the nice thing about Smart Shopper is that it makes a berry and then it'll make another berry and then, but yeah, the Wayward Drex here are just so good. Matriarch is going to be up to 4 after the second Wayward, right? Or maybe you hold on to that. Maybe you don't play the second Wayward. Do you have enough mana to just flip it? Yeah, right? Because you can tap the Cyborg and the Hardsuit and then the 2 lands if you want to transform it. You'll get another Kitsune Matriarch trigger. And Wayward Drek will be up to a 1, 2, 3... We'll see. Silver's being really good here, calling out the triggers, giving the opponent time to react. So I assume that, you know, plenty of warnings being given, so... Alright, Kitsune Matriarch goes up to a 3/3. I almost want to go big here, because you know your opponent brought in Spiteful Banditry, right? You don't want to overextend. I think... Yeah, that's also what I'm thinking as well here. Reborn Herald means that you're not playing out everything from your hand. What's nice is Banditry doesn't actually hit the Hardsuit. 3, 4 artifacts. Oh, but it's for each other, so it's still only +3. So, 1, 2, 3. Well, with Exalted triggers, it's a 7/7, so... Yeah. That's why I keep a little Exalted token when I do my matches, because it's nice for your opponents to know. So, we're up to 7 here. Face is going to give that extra 3? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why was there a trade there? I don't know. I'm a little confused. 4, 5, 6. Did I misread? There was 3, right? So let me just check real quick. Yeah, hold on. Right, hold on. Oh, was it a... Did the Calamity Cat get tapped? Let me just check real quick. I did Matriarch die. It was 4, 5, 6. How do you get the 7 power? Oh, okay. Okay, all good. All right, all good. If it already had a counter from the cat. Oh, it is a counter. Cool. Thank you. Thank you. That was it. Just need to know the cat. Anyway, we're rebuilding. The important thing here is, um, even though the board just got wiped, like look how fast this is going to rebuild, right? You can go Matriarch. Can you do all of it in the same turn? Matriarch's coming out here. Okay, Smart Shopper. Actually, I quite like the Smart Shopper play here because the berry's a 1, right? So it gets a berry. Kitsune goes up to 2. You can turn on the Hardsuit, which is quite nice. I mean, yeah. Okay. Not going for that now. That's surprising. I feel like a swing with the Hardsuit wouldn't have been horrible. Your opponent's not hasting anything out, and a 4 damage here would have been relevant, I think. If you're really worried, though, about the Calamity Cat trigger, I understand. If you're like, hey, I really can't let my opponent go Calamity Cat into something. Oh, hey, speaking of, there we go. Okay, Bind Life to Steal. Look at that. Any number with twice X or less, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So X has to be 3, right? Any number with total mana value twice X or less. So we're not quite at... Oh, do we have it? No, we don't. 4. But that's still 4 mana value. So you can go 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can go, Kitsune, Kitsune, Wayward... Oh my gosh, there's some great stuff going on here. Or you could just do Wayward Drek and the Attuned Acolyte for another Hardsuit. There's a lot of good stuff here. Bind Life to Steal does feel really great here in this matchup. Yeah, I guess if you're really worried about like the Rooftop Slinks and the Scattering Swine off Calamity Cat, because it does have haste by itself, there's a reason to hold on and keep up your blockers, because you would have been tapping out your whole field just to swing in for 4. Yes, I agree that this one is a thinker. I think you do want to maximize the Bind Life to Steal. It would be really cool, of course, if you had that extra land, but the fact that they all become artifacts too is just so good. Because it'll count all for Wayward Drek, right? So I think, yeah, Bind Life where X equals 2. And then it's twice X. Yep, Acolyte and Matriarchs. There we go. You have a Drek in hand, it's fine. This is going to make another Hardsuit. It's going to go to 3, 4, then 5. This is when you cast a creature spell, though, so no berries. These all being artifacts is really nice. I like it. I mean, I think the double Matriarch was definitely correct. And then the question is between Attuned Acolyte and Drek. The thing is, Drek doesn't do anything immediately, while the Attuned Acolyte bringing out these Hardsuits is quite nice. 2 Exalted triggers here. 3 Exalted? Oh, the berry. Hello. So that's swinging for 6. Putting out a lot of damage here. And then, yeah, berry cracks. Yep. It's nice that that's an attack trigger and then a damage trigger, because, yeah, a banditry here could be good. Everything's at 2, but even there, not really, because Hardsuits are still there, same as always. That's what I really have been liking about Attuned Acolyte, is it just, really leaves something lingering around. No flying, though, has been something I've noticed in this deck. So, yeah, Synthetic Spectre can pull your Drek, but if Synthetic Spectre attacks, I mean, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you can convert. Like, you've got lethal on board, right? So, And like that's not even counting a Wayward Drek being cast with an extra berry. There's a lot here. And again, like yeah, all right. There's a concession. Not too surprised, and I'm happy that we're seeing the cards that I predicted were going to show up in the sideboards. Yeah, I would have been pretty tense too. That was a really tight match. Like there was a moment where Banditry could have done a lot, but drawing the Bring Life to Steel here was really big. It's exactly the reason why that card is in the sideboard. You know, if you're losing all your stuff, might as well just get it all back and at a reduced rate too. Like that was 4 mana for. I mean, obviously 4 mana of cards, but you know, essentially you drew 3 cards, and it was exactly the cards that you needed to. So great stuff. Not necessarily the card you want to have like multiples of in your opening hand, but even just having one means you have a lot more flexibility in what you can do. So real quick, we saw. What did we see? We saw Spiteful Banditry. I don't think we saw Force Shutdown or Duress, but we didn't see much in Split's hand. And it looks like Silver brought in Bind Life, but I don't think we saw Duress there. So we'll see what gets brought in. Okay, opening hand here on the play for Split. Looks like we've got a single land, so definitely not going to keep that. This one's looking a lot better here. Sanguine Palace and Swamp gives you 2. You've got Calamity Cat, Scattering Swines, punishments for the early game, and then you're following that up into an Inner Rings Pupil. I quite like this. Silver doesn't have quite as big of an explosive start because of the no matriarchs, but Lost Resistor, Smart Shopper, Attuned are all pretty good. A lot of lands. Drawing a Melon here is quite nice. That's actually the kind of card you do want early, because the fact that you can give other creatures hexproof is so big. I'm almost wondering if Split has to take a turn off to use Punishment from Nyx before Melon can come online, because that seems like a really dangerous thing to keep around in the long run. You're going to have a lot of trouble removing anything else, I mean, except for Melon, obviously. Though the Scattering Swine play is strong because it goes into a 4/3 with haste. Now that I know that it's a counter and just not a +1/+1, the fact that it grows permanently is quite big. And then they lose 3 life unless you discard a card. I don't think you're bouncing anything. So it's just about putting like a bunch of damage on the board. The one issue is you have to discard, right? So if you're discarding, are we discarding the land? And if we're doing that, we're kind of saying, okay, we're going away with punishment from Nyx. Interesting. All right. Just going to swing to put a lot of big damage early. Are we bouncing anything? I don't think you're bouncing your lands. You want to get to Inner Rings Pupil. That's going to be really big. Okay, bringing back Calamity Cat. Okay, I can see that. Especially if you have nothing to sequence on turn 3, you can just replay Calamity Cat. So there was a creature, and I think Silver just took the extra damage hit here rather than have to give up something. Oh, did we? No, looks like we discarded a Smart Shopper, which is fine in the long run. Here's Lost Resistor, 3 points of power. I mean, Calamity Cat can always grow Scattering Swine up to a 5/4. Phoenix's Touch isn't too bad. It's going to sequence nicely here. You can both do Calamity Cat and Touch, or you can, discard the Touch to give the extra counter. I think you really got to hold out for Inner Rings Pupil. It feels like the right kind of card. You just got to get to 4 mana. Okay, looks like we're not Calamity Catting more. So just discard a card. Yep, going to be a Primal Fisher here. A lot of lands here means that you've got a lot of flexibility in that. And Touch being able to be sacked to draw a card is actually going to be pretty relevant. Obviously, no attacks with Scattering Swine, so you don't trade into a Lost Resistor. So a few things here. Obviously, the Hexproof now is quite relevant. It's discard, sacrifice, lose 7 life. So you really got to be careful with that. Hardsuit's really nice here. So we're at 2 tokens. So Exalted is now at +2. Smart Shopper is going to be quite nice. Okay, there's a Temple of Origins. It comes in tapped, however. Definitely not getting rid of Inner Ring's Pupil. In fact, you want to have an extra card in hand so that you can Calamity Cat that Inner Ring's Pupil next turn, so you can get both triggers. Discard is going to be pretty relevant. Silver, of course, doesn't know what's in Split's hand, but if, you know, is quite careful, there's I mean, honestly, it's not too bad right now. If Lost Resistor with Cyber Soul, that would be really good this turn, just because of the Inner Ring Pupil. But Smart Chopper's great as well. Makes a berry. Attach the berry to Attuned Acolyte. Looks like we are drawing a card, losing a life here. Well, that's only sorcery speed, so it's not going to matter here. Temple of Origins is good. That's probably going to be the card we're pitching for. Two lands in hand, pretty insulates you pretty well against Inner Ring's Pupil, like biggest effects, and it grows into a 4, which you can have here with the Hardsuit, so Hardsuit can trade in. Then you've got Lost Resistor. Like there's cool things you can do here. Oh, okay. Looks like we're going for the aggressive plan. All right. 3 Exalted triggers. So 7 damage total. Okay. Let's see what the draw is. Another land. A lot of lands, that's for sure. I'm imagining we're going to see the Inner Ring's Pupil play. I mean, your opponent tapped out a bit of their stuff here. Probably going to trash Temple of Origins after. So yeah, Swamp gets discarded. So you've mitigated the first enter the battlefield. Now it's going to be an attack trigger if we use Calamity Cat. The problem is you're leaving yourself quite open. Like you sacrifice a creature. Yeah, you've got Scattering Swine probably going to stay back on the defense, but if, you know, Silver draws a piece of removal, you're going to feel that hurt. Oh my gosh, we're just attacking with everything. Very interesting here. Can you just take it all? I'm wondering. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 does not kill you, puts you down to 3, and then on the crackback, you don't have enough right now. Yeah, there's some math to be done here. It also depends, obviously, on what we're drawing, right? Like, you're going to get really low here. You're going to sacrifice something, right? Just going to be... I wonder if it is Melon. Because in the long run, you definitely want that Lost Resistor alive. In fact, if you can get... like, you're going to get a few of the 3/1s if you flip over, and then the fact that those also gain a few life, like those are going to make decent blockers. Yeah, like it would have been a lot stronger to have the Hardsuit here, but I definitely understand wanting to put in the pressure in terms of damage. So it looks like Melon was eaten by the Inner Ring. No blocks. So it depends if Scattering Swine is going to bring something back. It's going to have to, like, obviously there's no cards in hand, so if you choose to bring anything back, even just the land, that's an extra 3 points. 3 points is big because that's how much Scattering Swine can deal if it. I mean, obviously, if it hits, right? Like, but off of even a small trample could be the deciding factor here. So yeah, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage right here, which again isn't 10. There's an extra 2 from Penwrath Insurgency. That's 9. So, but maybe you convert, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep. I think there's lethal on board right here. Oh, well, Calamity Cat is back. Okay. So that's important. Melon gives you a free trigger of the Penwrath Insurgency, though, right? Because when it enters, you make a pledge if you control it, yeah? Is that still going to be enough? The 3 extra mana lets you obviously trigger Lost Resistor, but Lost Resistor doesn't get bigger. What it does do if you transform it is it gives you that extra 3 that can turn into hard space, right? So if you go Melon, Penwrath, give like a +2 here. You want to spread out the damage, I would imagine. Okay. Looks like X is equal to 2 here on resistor, so we're going to get another 2 3s. Okay. Maybe we're just going for like the big one. So Melon here is going to give Penwrath. There's lots of tokens now, right? Chopper triggers, Berry, Melon enters, triggers Penwrath. I think with Trample though, right? Penwrath doesn't give Trample. So that goes up to a 5/3. Uh-huh. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 exalted triggers, if I count correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So Calamity Cat just gets bumped here. Okay. 3 life is a risky place to be in against an opponent who's got high voltage. You've got blocks, which is really important, but it is on attack. You'd have to sacrifice a creature. Melon's a small one, and then you can trade for your opponent's stuff, right? 3 and so yeah. I think there was lethal the previous turn if I didn't miscount, but it didn't. I don't know if it took into consideration the cat because the cat was an extra, but by flipping Lost Resistor and using that body to activate, you would have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And cat could. Okay, cat was still blocking the 4 though. 12, 13 on something else. Nah, it would have been 1 short. I think they would have been at 1. So. Because you wouldn't have had any more mana left over for the berries or anything. So. Ooh, talk about a match that is down to the wire here. Like, the attacks aren't horrible, but you're giving up everything if you do so. Staying on the defensive is risky because these exalted triggers are just so big. Oh, actually, you can't even really stay on the defensive. Melon can give... Oh, it doesn't have black. Doesn't have black. So Inner Ring's Pupil can at least block something. But if you block with your Inner Ring's Pupil, you're giving up pretty much the one thing you have on the board right now that's likely to win you the game. But yes, Melon can get... Oh, no, wait a second. Does it just check every color? Other permanents you control. Oh, we're a base. There's black here on the board. Never mind. If Melon gives black... because Scattering Swine is also black, you can get through with Melon. And you're at 8, so you just have to swing with the biggest thing, which would be a Hardsuit, right? So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, there's lethal here. All you have to do then is... Oh, okay. Well, that's it, right? Can't be blocked by creatures of that color, so... Yeah. Temple of Origins, whatever. Hold it in hand for Inner Rings, right? Because you have to discard a card. This should just be lethal. I mean, of course, Silver doesn't know if Splitmoon's holding something up, but I think it's a minimal enough play that, yeah, you turn like your Hardsuit, or you just use one of your cyborgs to try and go in for lethal, leaving everything up on the defense, right? So Hardsuit, unblockable, naming black, and then attacks for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 10 unblockable, right? I think that should just be it. There's nothing in the yard that I'm forgetting, right? Nope. I really undervalued Melon when I was playing on my first league match here. This card just does a lot, honestly. And that's it. A really nice 2-1 game here. Wow. Some really close ones. The removal could have been great. Like, obviously, we saw that Split didn't quite draw probably what they wanted, but still put up a lot of defense. Honestly, the aggressive plays there were really big. That's a lot of life there. So, players did a fantastic game. Hopefully you enjoyed, and stay tuned. Round 1 is continuing today, and I think into tomorrow, 9, 10, 11, yeah. And then afterwards, we'll be on to round 2 of GP Mirage Expo. Yep, bit of a tense game, as the players said, but everything went well. So hopefully you've appreciated the recording, and we'll see you in the next episode.